This day 796 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you like a sponsor, come share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please come me directly. Very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Taf Tzadik Ches Sif Lamed to Lamed Zayin. Lamed Zeshamay Bechlis Afar Abel Turkey Nosim Muta Ishtamishot. I always said when you brought in a lot of dirt for the purpose of your garden to use it. You can use it for Kisei Dam Kasla Torshel Arukh Sif Zayin. The Hichnas the base of Tzorach Kinoso. This says that you put it in your house for the purpose of your garden. You put the dirt into your garden or into your ruin in order to be mechasem. Sounds like even bring it just into a gino churban, it suffices. Veneer the item to the gino churban cholion asur. So evidently those who argue the Turin Shulchan Aruch hold that if you brought it into the Giner Churva, you can't use it in any event, and no matter what, the matter butter for them, they've reached their final resting place. The offer is butter to the place where they are. You can't move it for any other purpose. So that's what they say that you put it into your house for the purpose of your Gino or your Churva. Rambam Perek Beis Hishmitin Zer Rambam the South for Loy Dati but don't know why. But Reef of Yo, you put it Ayin Sham. Everybody says you'll see because up. He says added. If you brought in a basketful for the purpose of your gina, low, you can't use a kisedam. Shemachah shumuot batel. It's a small amount. It's batel. Akan l'shono. Loyadati mikorov tamo. Says Oshun, I don't know his source and his rationale. If you brought it in your house, why is it batel to your gina? Near Shlomat so it seems that you've learned this. The Gemara says, "Machnis adam lokupas ofar." Person bring in a basket full of dirt, possible called circle. He used it for all his needs. Pirusho shechnis bestam, and that means when he brought it in without any specification. Moshe's buyers we shall see. Chenkosavatur, right? So it's the same thing. Machetavka bestam. So it sounds that it's only when he brought it in generically, but Mela and the inference is automatic. The ginos also that you brought in for your gino or your churba, it's awesome. Time reason could be they came in the tikkun hagino churba chutzilo, since he has compelling interest in fixing his gino or churba. Afar muat, and he has very little dirt. Vade aktin rakazeh, he certainly must have designated solely for that purpose. Shem bar far as opposed to when there's a lot of dirt, which brings down the poskim hold. That specifically when you brought it into the Gino Mamashit's Batal, Gino, not when you brought it into the house of the Chotzer, even though you only brought in a good kupa and the designated place for it, it's still not Batal, but there's more. No, he said, but he said, I don't think basket's way. Not sure. It's not clear from the note how he passes. Okay. Machlis some local puzzle offer bestam. Person could bring in a basket full of dirt generically. Buy some b'chotzer, also into a house or into the yard. Also can do whatever he needs with it. Don't say it's batel to the ground of the house or the chotzer. Shichel keren zov has to be designated for a specific corner. You gave it a designated specific place. The ilu was spread on over the ground. Vale below kaka certainly were vassals to the ground. I feel kaka shabulit, but even on the ground underneath that dirt there is a floor. But when you designate a specific place for it, the loshar you didn't spread it. Mukham mills it's clear that the tzarich esa offer he needs the dirt for his own needs. Lachenim offer to so therefore, as long as it's crumbly, he can use it to cover the blood. Please say here it's saying that we have to take care by us. It's supposed about him. Don't ask me, but they used to scatter green sand on the floors of the house. You can't use that sand for any purpose. The batel agav karka. It's now batel to the ground. The Shabbat says if it's talking about you didn't get checked, that But the dirt has to be crumbly enough that that when you take it, you're not going to make a hole. Or it's taken in a way that it's careful. I don't know if that's such a chiddush. Okay. Uh, so don't use that green sand we scattered on the ground, says Arukh HaShulchan, but use the stuff you brought, designated, and gave a place. The moments of fact, it seems that people are not careful about this. Perhaps they hold the dafka benfusa karka, perhaps that only with scatter on the ground, below it's both out of floor, bato karka, it's bato to the ground, so what not, where's the floor? But then you can't ask, well, if that's the case, if you have floor, why do you need a designated corner? Could be the designated corner, it's not only necessary when there is no floor. When there is a floor, the dirt is not built to the ground. Ayin sham. So here, Arukh HaShulchan seems to be reneging the kulam what he just said before. The Arukh says yesh ayin calls it tuva. Okay, but I say it's not really so yes, so I don't know that we have to be ma'ayin tuva in it. Lama base. Isa b'gemara. The Gemara says, "Amar Rav Yichnis, offer l'chasapot if you brought in dirt to cover excrement. Imatino kitani v'satzmo." The reason why I cover the excrement is that a child might come to foul himself up. Mutzah l'chasapot damti, we're allowed to use it to cover the blood of a bird. Since you designate for a suffix, then maybe a child get dirty. And the choshken shizminu dam tibor certainly is automatically also designated for the blood of a bird. Which you know for sure going to have to shech on yontav. He brought it in to cover the bird's blood. Also, you can't use it to cover excrement. These mean that you designate for a definite purpose, also not for a doubtful purpose. Now, beloy amrei. I feel like the dam tipa mutar tzara. Now, beloy said even you burn it for the blood of a bird, it's still mutar for the excrement. The game now is minay. Once you designate it, as michol dover, you designate it for everything. Bein the body, bein the suffix. So both something definite and something doubtful. Now, poskim l'shul klam ma'amar says this statement is not put down in the poskim at all. It seems that they hold like the narboy. The Havagav, the Rava, Havamar, the Kuli Talmudah. Even though the Rava is the master of the entire Shas, evidently Narbaloi were a bunch of people, right? It says Narbaloi Amrit, and so there for the Rabbi. The meaning of the Rabbanan, furthermore, it's the Rabbanan, and the Rabbanans were lenient. Therefore, it follows, Milokas Udim, Azmin Lazeh, Animal Lazeh. They didn't write anything, but if you designate for this, it doesn't work for this. The Kula Charas Mona. It must all designations are the same. In order to specify anything in the designation. Even specified for something, it's mutter for everything. Nevertheless, the poskim should not have left this unsaid and deleted from the halacha. It brings down the brackets that you do need specific designation. So five and eight can move on. So no way. That's against all the poskim. Okay, and the Shabur does bring out both opinions. I guess he doesn't determine which one you can follow, which one to follow, but of course, suffix rabban l'kula. Lam gimel koi. I used to call it kfi, but I think the koi which is suffix. Chaya suffix mema. It's not clear if it's a chaya, which requires kisudam, or beim, which is not required kisudam. So kisudam suffix. Therefore, you need to cover the blood, but only out of doubt. Also, shachli b'yontav. You can't shech. It's not allowed to shech the time to even shech lasos. You have to go into bar because you can't cover the blood, as will become clear. If you did shech, you don't cover the blood. I feel you should offer even you have dirt which is prepared for yontav. Mitayim achrina. That's for another reason. Somebody sees us covering the blood of a kohen, and you have to be omar. Would say the chayu. Say it's definitely chaya. If not, I wouldn't have make you go to the bother of covering the blood on yontif. and the come to matter the chaylev of a koi, just like the chaylev of a chaya is permissible. V'chol lechshin said, we think we're not concerned with this. We're not going to say, he's just trying to clean out his yard, and that's why he's spreading new sand. A klaman akoso osakain, and it's doing clean out below. Sheikh not for the purpose of kisei adam. Aviyontiv like lumini kind of chutz, whereas they're not going to think he's cleaning out his yard. They ain't definitely going to chutz beyontiv. It's not normal to clean out your yard and yontiv. Then when you shechta yoniach adam arev, you should let the blood get mixed into the ground. And Yerushu manika yechisenu. If there's still something recognizable, I guess after yontiv, you should cover it. We love. Lav said now you shouldn't cover it. Achil enema keves. There's nothing to do with whether you eat or not. Then a kisi yon lachila. Whether you do kisi them has nothing to do with whether you eat from the animal or not. Okay, it's kind of doesn't follow so smoothly there. Bialacha says that. I go. This is actually in the previous sif. On the designation. He says that the Rachmanim wrote that if you want to put dirt in a little bit of dirt in a vessel, and we see the blood in a vessel, that's also not appropriate because there's a chashash. They might say that since they allowed you to put dirt in the vessel, it must be that. Oh no, this is also talking about. No, sorry, this is talking about this. It's talking about koi. It says that Achronim say even if you want to put some dirt in a bucket, which is definitely designated, and to get the blood in the bucket, that's not appropriate yontiv. There's also chashash in this case, because you might say that since you're matir to put dirt in the bucket for this purpose, that it's definitely a chaya. And the dirt was put there for the purpose of covering. Which says even if you prepared the dirt explicitly for the purpose of covering a koi's blood, you can't use it. The tzlach holds that this is specifically by koi, which is a creature in and of itself. But if you have an animal which is a cross between a deer and a goat, which is half chayav, half potter, if you prepare it from Erev Yontif to cover, you're allowed to shecht and cover on Yontif. Which says, so we wait 2 days, you have to wait to cover for the kisei for the Yontif Sheni. Like that makes sense. Okay. Next, Lamadal. Kasra ben Ramah al din zeh b'sifiyut ches. Rama writes concerning this. V'davka sheshav keren zavis chaygam. That's only of course shech in the corner or such like. Shech ben chotzer shech in the middle of the yard. I feel dam bein ma'yachol chasos im yesh lavar muchan. Even the blood of a behemoth, which is not chayiv in kisui, you can cover if you have dirt prepared. Davli could grab sharei because it's like a disgusting trash heap. V'tzarich l'chasos, and that's a halacha when you have something. We're discussing, you're allowed to deal with it on Shabbos or Yontif. But you have to cover it in order the kelim in your chutzner should not get dirtied. In other words, it says whether Yontif lo yitlu because chutzner, they're not going to think that you're cleaning your yard. Like we said, that's to clean the entire yard, even the corners. That's not prevalent in Yontif. Most of it's something discussing, which is an open place. If you was Shabbos, can't move it or do something with it even on Shabbos. And that's what it says earlier. That grab shorei, a bucket of excrement, mutzah Shabbos, I have to carry out on Shabbos. I jump. If it's in the middle of the yard, it's certainly something repugnant. The dark so gone beyond it, and the derech of everybody is covered also yontif. Below yiflu b'mitzvahs kisei plu. We're not going to think that he's doing kisei hadam. Brackets says Magen Avraham is nitcha karbe bezeh b'shekasav nadoni brurim b'tamon. Okay. Nun ches. I'm sorry. Bialacha says that it sounds in Lashon the place that you shouldn't check the koi l'chatchila in the middle of your yard in order to cover it, even with that there graf sharei. Sharatzian says it's perhaps it's if you did check and it's in the yard, it's even l'chatchila to cover it. You shouldn't come afterwards to dirty your clothes and have to clean and come to clean your clothes on Yontif. It also says that from the Gra it sounds that uh, the Gra says that the reason of this Hagar, of this Rambah, is that the Riyaz holds that the Sugya is talking about dirt which is not prepared altogether, like a poker, which is on the ground, etc. So it's clear that, according to that which all of the poskim, that this is even talking about prepared dirt, that we don't hold the Ramah, but I'm not sure what to say about that because the Arukh HaShulchan just ignores that. The Shul writes that never, if you cover the blood, a yontif should have not in mind for the purpose of the mitzvah, only show in mind that you shouldn't get dirty. Uh, and that, but that also only works. No, should have in mind that you're covering for the purpose of the mitzvah, nor should have in mind only that you're covering that for that you shouldn't get dirty. But what you should have in mind is that your chayshish, your clothes is going to be dirty, and therefore I'm allowed to cover it. And therefore, I'm also have in mind to do the mitzvah of kisuyada. Okay. Laminate Isa Bagamara. The one says Tanya Rabbi is there low koi bilvad, not just the koi a few shah behema b'chayav oven. These arbu daman zebezeh. You can extract it 3 species and only 2 of which are chayav and kisui, and the blood got mixed together with each other. Excuse me. Also, l'chasav yosef yontif. Now the cover yontif. Shum the katarach nine b'shul behema is also working on the blood of the animal, of the behema. I mean, that's by saying a lotion, lo shein yachol chasos v'kirachas. Only if you can't cover it with one poking of the poker. Avayachas is v'kirachas do with one poking of the poker. Mutter is permitted. Right? In Amar b'ticha b'shul behema, not doing more tircha, not doing more toil because they behema. Part of shita one asks is obvious. But it's an answer. Come out the time you might have thought need to achas atu shtei kilos. Say one poke of the poker is also let's come to 2 pokes. Come on, shalom. That we don't not go there. Don't make such a be. Pashalisha shomer lo koi bilvad chulei. So from the simple meaning of the language says not just the koi etc. Mashma seems to indicate the b'chom min chisui aser afil yesh over muchan. That in any type of covering it's aser, even if you have prepared dirt. Because I be say see if you test the lashona. Like basically it says right shochat behema the chayim yisarv don't you shechtin behema and chayim their blood can mixed up yeshlo for muchan. You have dirt which is prepared or if a kira or ashes from your stove. In yochal chasoi soy with kira achas even covered with one pick pick of the poke of the poker. Even though you don't have to add additional effort for the blood of the animal, you can do kisei. If not, who should not cover it. Meshua says, if the blood of the chaya was the majority, not the majority, was so much that if the blood of the behema was water, you would still be able to see the redness of the blood of the chaya. On a weekday at least, you're chayav to do kisui. So it says that the one poke of the poker is okay. It seems to be going back on things it said previously. As long as the poker was already poked in the crumbly dirt from before yontif, as opposed to when he doesn't have the poker, then you need to use ashes. That seems to be old hat at this point. Mishra says that say that even one poke, which we would take from, which would only, which you would take anyway from the blood of the chaya, is still usher, which is obviously a bigger chumrah than what we saw here in the Arukh HaShulchan from the Beis Yosef. So let's see what the Arukh HaShulchan himself has to say. Lamed Vav. This is astonishing. If the dirt is completely ready and designated, why should you cancel mitzvah kisui for light effort? But the places actually asked this question. The tier 2 and the answer the shev al taisa ish koch b'yodam. That Rabbanan have the power to tell you to refrain from doing something even though it's a mitzvah. Ayin shah. Then move on. It doesn't help me. The emes sheyesh b'leim koch. I know they have the power to do that. Amaru takin kach. But why should they make such a takana? Well, mal loshin kira achas state kiros. What's this language of one poke or two pokes? Let's just say ella al decker no decker no. Someone goes on a poker which is poked in the ground. Akisa afer for afar. But if we're talking about covering with dirt, ashes or dirt, that's really about poking. You should say one covering or two coverings. That would say not just the koi, but anything else. What's one thing have to do with the other? The koi made the krilas going to be matter its chelik when she's born. But behema chaya mishum tircha, but behema chaya it's on account of tircha. You shouldn't have to say that Bryce versus Gam Koi have many time tircha. So you have to say Bryce holds that Koi issue is also tircha, and that's why they're comparable. It's not really chelik. Lamed Zayin, nearly bar mikoze. Sorry, near bar, it's clean to me. The mikoze, kasa tur zoshon. The tour took this all into account and wrote, near yochel kasos b'kir achas if you cover it with one poke. It's already shechted mutar. I feel ain't no offer muchan. So even though I don't have the designated dirt. Actually, the decker notes for as long as you have this poker poked and crumbly dirt. But on the other hand, you have designated dirt. Then you can cover it. I feel our bait the even with many pokes. See later tour. The door holds the dean said ain't no elin and decker no shesham iser guma. So it only pertains to the poker, where there's a problem of making a hole. Much time to see Mechsiv comes out. Where he wrote, it's the Rabbanan. Shayach Lomar, as far as the taste of Shem, he did bring the battle of Mitzvah Kisui, the Shem Tchal Taisik, she tzarech shteit kiros. So this you can say, Taka, they said Shem Al Taisik, don't do it. When you acquire two pokes, that you're making a hole. I'm so happy with this. Either we're talking about where there isn't crumbly dirt, where you didn't designate it the dirt, and you just have the poker poked in. But that's why, two pokes are not good. Otherwise, otherwise, even a lot of books are okay, right. So it's something, somehow or another, there's some lack of achana in this dirt. Right? It's only decker notes, not we're miyachid. The offer muchan legamri. If dirt was completely muchan from before Shab, but Yontif, they allowed to use it with no restraints. The first is kash with Dvarav. First he took the tour of Vayin Dvarav Meruch Rochim. When he wrote, his words are compelling. It says brackets Ango Satush Kasakin Zet. And then he wrote something similar. Gam Ishlomar. We also can say also that Tur Sover, the Gam, Kan Chashim Minei Torah Schelbo. Also here there's an issue because you might come to allow the Chaylev. Shushnei the Kiros. People will see the two the Kiros use Bushishneim Chayosu. They'll think both were Chayos. He wrote everything is good. So, and then we talk about cases of Behema and a Chaya. They shouldn't do Kiros because then people are going to think that Behema is a Chaya. Okay. Stop here, even though there's one sif left. We usually do the last sif, but I think this is long enough for one day.